Hello, guys. Very happy to see you guys here again today. And today, I promise you, is going to be one of the best sessions that we have ever had on this channel. For those of you who are visiting this channel for the first time, this is Hyperspace Code. What we do here is that we provide resources, we provide links, connections that help you grow in your tech journey. And for those of you who are visiting the channel for the second time or more, welcome home. I promise you this session is going to be one of a kind. By the time we are through, you are definitely going to have gathered and picked some nuggets. And all you need after this session is just 1 or 2 months more, and you find yourself in a very wonderful position in the tech space. All right. I have with me here today a very good friend of mine, an onboarding specialist, a tech recruiter, and she has been in the space for a while. She's going to introduce herself. But this personality we're going to share our time with today is somebody who has taught me a lot personally, especially in the tech space, the advice, the nuggets that she has given to me. They have advanced my journey very quickly in the tech space. And that is why I called her here today so that she can teach us all the things that she has been sharing with us secretly. So if you're ready, let's bring on board my very own friend, tech recruiter, Akosia.
Hello.
Welcome, Akosia. How are you doing?
I'm good. And you?
I'm doing very great. You can see very happy to see your face. This is the day I've been waiting for a very, very long time.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, I've been waiting for today for a very long time. And I mean, sometimes I come to you personally. I'm like, take a look at my LinkedIn, take a look at my GitHub. What do you think? And then you be like, do this, do that, do that. So I'm like, all these nuggets that you are giving to me, I can't be selfish. I have to share with my friends.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that is why we called you here today. And you're going to help us craft our social profiles, our resume, so that when someone like you, who is a recruiter, the moment you set eyes on it, you want it to
Yeah.
spark your eyes. So tell us about yourself, your work, and we'll just delve straight into business.
Okay, right. So my name is Akosia Ejibukia. As you can hear from my name, I come from Ghana, but I'm currently based in Germany. I've been a tech recruiter for some time, and then I've recently transitioned into learning and development as well as onboarding. So I've done a bit of the recruitment space. Now I'm in the space of dealing with the employees that are actually in the company, helping them with their learning and development as well as onboarding. But then recruitment will always be my first love. It's always on my heart, and any way that I can help, I am available. So that is why I'm here today to discuss with you all how you can stand out as a tech professional and generally for basically everybody, how you can tell your career journey and your story. Yes.
Sorry, I think I was speaking on mute. So we
Yeah.
actually have somebody who has worked in the tech recruiting space before. That's a very great privilege that we have. There's this question that it's so important, and I want to start with that. Okay, because it's like my online resume. It's like um I don't have to worry trying to craft a nice resume and it has to pass the software. My LinkedIn account is out there. Anyone can access it. It's like my
Mhm.
online resume.
Yeah.
How? How? Tell me, how can I craft or arrange my LinkedIn account, my socials, such that when somebody like you just sets eyes on it, it's going to grab your attention? How do I go about that?
Okay, so before we go into crafting your LinkedIn profile, I will come to the basis. So think
Sure.
of your career journey as a story that you're telling. So I just want the audience to go with me through this story that I'm coming to tell. It's a journey. You've gone to school, or maybe you did a boot camp, you did certifications, and now you are done. So now you are in this next phase of your story where you want somebody to notice you so that you can continue your journey. And before you can stand out and do all of those things, you need to understand your why. Why did you go into tech? Why did you read the course that you did? It doesn't mean you have to figure everything out, but then at least having the basic understanding, because then that is what will help you in this journey of having the resume, the LinkedIn, going into the interviews, the companies you're looking for, the roles that you're looking for, the location. What all of that is encompassed in your why. So when you're able to determine that, now, like you said, LinkedIn, I call it building in public, because on your LinkedIn profile or any social media profile that you have, you can put so much in there that you wouldn't be able to on the resume that is maybe um, one pager or two pager. Like that's the limit. But on LinkedIn
That's right.
or Indeed, anywhere, you are building in public. So the thing is that you have to sit back and ask yourself, how do I want people to know me? How do I show up in this space?
Wow, that's really interesting. When you were speaking, my mind was even actually on just LinkedIn, but you also mentioned Indeed, which means that we shouldn't limit ourselves just to LinkedIn, right? We should also try and be sure
Yeah.
that we have profiles on all these other socials.
Yeah,
Can you
there are
mention
so
some of them
many.
for us?
Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
we have Indeed, we have Glassdoor, there's Zinc. Zinc is limited to Germany and I think Europe. I mean, LinkedIn is the worldwide one. We have even on your Instagram, on your Facebook, even there, the GitHub, the info security pages, all of those places, there's a way you need to show up there. People are getting jobs not because they had an amazing resume, but just because of how they were showing up in public, how they were showing up on LinkedIn.
Wow, that's really amazing. So take me into it then. Now, you've spoken about the fact that we are done with the programs. We're in school taking courses. We are done with that. We feel like we've gathered some skills.
Hmm.
We want to now put ourselves out there.
Yeah, yeah,
And the people who are going through our profiles or are going through our resume, any of those things, there's something that they're looking out for.
yeah.
What do you look out for?
So depending on the role that let's say I'm hiring for. So I was hiring for security roles. So definitely I'm looking for somebody that has experience in security, but then I'm looking for specific things. So if I'm hiring for cloud security, I'm looking to see does this person have cloud security anywhere on their profile? If I have to go extra, I want to see have they done any projects around cloud security. So the same way, whether front end, back end, there are specific things that each company uses, different tech stacks that different company uses. So if you know you have that tech stack, you have to show it on your LinkedIn.
You're saying that, let's say I'm in a mean stack, MongoDB, Express, React, and
Yes,
then or any other stack. It has to represent on my LinkedIn or my socials.
yes.
Then I have to go to work on my LinkedIn because mine is not representing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we
Uh-huh.
really have general things that we want people to know about us. Like, yes, I'm a software engineer. I probably worked on this project and I've done, I've taken this course. I put my certification there, and that should be enough.
Can I maybe burst your bubble? I don't care.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I don't care. I don't care about the certification you've done. I don't really care about the
Wait,
project you've done.
all the months and years I put into it, you don't care.
I don't care.
You don't even care about the projects that I've done.
If I'm doing a LinkedIn search, there are specific
Mhm.
keywords that I'm using. So if let's say I need somebody that has experience in React, JavaScript, that is what I'm typing in. So if it's not on your profile, your certification,
You're not going to show up.
you won't show up. I remember
Wow.
I was doing LinkedIn search for the cloud security role, and I remember it was like three different security roles I was hiring for, and there was this particular person. He kept on showing up in all of them.
Whoa. Whoa. So that means that when you are searching for talents or skills to work with, you conduct your search with keywords.
Yeah, keywords.
Keywords.
Yes.
Amazing. That means that now in crafting our profile, we need to know what these keywords are and
Mhm.
inject them into our profile. You're definitely gonna share some of them with us. This is a session that you're gonna review. I mean, we are actually so blessed to be here because these are the secrets that you guys work with.
Mm,
And here in
mm.
this case, you are sharing these backdoor secrets with us. And one thing I've learned right now is that you conduct your search for skills and talent with keywords. So these
Yes,
keywords
keyword.
must represent my socials.
Yes. So
Amazing.
key. Yeah.
Keywords.
The keywords, because we have like different ways that we are doing the keywords, but it doesn't, we are not going to say we are looking for somebody that has certification in software. Keyword sometimes, yeah, it's not keyword like simple one word or this or that, and then that's just it. So if you have not crafted your LinkedIn profile like that, there's no way you're going to show up, right? I've
Yep.
seen couple of profiles, especially from outside of the country. I mean, from Africa, where the person's on LinkedIn, all right, and then you'd see um, something like software developer, and that's it, and
That's it.
then
Like nothing more.
nothing more, and then it's like the person's high school. That's all of the profile, and yeah.
But wait, I know you mentioned that you don't care about the certifications, but does it matter at all? Like, do you even take a peek at it? Nothing at all. The certifications
So
don't matter at all.
the thing is, so the recruiter is like the first person to the door, and then from there the hiring power lies with the hiring manager. So it's when you are actually in the stages, that is when maybe they'll consider the certifications that you've done, have a conversation around it. But honestly, in the interview stage, in the first stage CV screening, the certification, yes, we'll look at, okay, the person has a certification, the person has the skills, but then it's all have to come together to create something. So you can have, there were times I had to reject people where they have certifications, but there's nothing in the experience that talk about anything that I'm looking for. So like, I'm sorry, you had the certification, you have the education, but there's somebody that has actual experience. So it has to match. It has to talk about it. And so LinkedIn is the avenue for you to build. So there are those that would wait until they are done with school before they write. They just come here. "Oh, I'm happy to let you know I've finished the school certification, something, something." What I
Sure.
would advise is whatever you are working on as you're taking the class, as you're taking the boot camp, build it in public. So if there was a week you worked on this project, come and write about it. If this week was a very tough week, there was something that it took a long time for you to figure it out, write about it. Take us through. As you're doing that, you're getting attention.
So you actually go through our activity feed on our
Yeah,
socials.
yeah.
Wait, what if I'm posting something about politics or personal stuff? Does it
Well,
matter?
it doesn't matter. You just have to. I don't do it like when I'm recruiting for, but then I mean I've seen people come to tell their stories of how like building in public, and at the end of the day they were able to get that job. So when I'm actively recruiting for a role, and then I'm doing the research, and then I go through your profile, like, oh, maybe there are times there are some people like you are torn, really like it's just left with a tiny little thing to push this person to the next stage. And I can't find
Okay.
it in the resume. So I'm like, okay, let me check the person's LinkedIn. And then you're like,
Okay.
ah, this was what I was looking for. Then the person goes on.
Wow. So we have to really be mindful of the things we are putting on our activity feed, on our X profiles, on our LinkedIn, on our Glassdoor, on our Instagram. All of that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not really allowed for us to go and scrutinize. Like, you can't discriminate just because somebody has a different opinion from you on
That
the
makes
social
sense. Yeah.
media. But then I'm just looking at it as a job seeker, like you want to get a job, you want to put your best foot forward, then just build in public. So as you are in your bootcamp doing these studies, write it out there, the projects that you're working on, the different stakeholders that you're working with. Write a story about it. You don't have to be the best. Mostly people think you have to be the smartest or the sharpest on the LinkedIn streets. No, it can be just 5 sentences. It can just be one sentence. It can just be something. Comment on people's page. All of that, because you can have the best LinkedIn page, but if you're not active, that's another thing. Nobody's noticing you.
Hmm.
So back
Active.
on the on your LinkedIn profile, I mean, you have get a nice picture, like easy,
Okay,
visible
so
that
now
people.
take us into the very breakdown of the LinkedIn profile itself.
So we come into the LinkedIn profile. So your picture, something nice, something visible. It doesn't necessarily have to be professional, but it has to just be very visible. Like when I see, I can easily see the person's.
Clear.
Yes. And then you have your title. One thing I learned later on in the recruitment space and just following people about just not writing roles that you're currently in, but also for roles that you aspire to be in. So if you're a
Okay.
student right now and you want to be a data analyst in the future, write data analyst in your title.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So this was what
So
it would.
front end engineer, back
Yeah.
end engineer,
Okay. So
then
this is what
product manager, all that.
it will tie back in that. So then if you pop up in the search, and then now you also have to make sure that it's somewhere in your experience or education session. So I know, oh, the person is studying,
Okay, makes
or
sense.
the
Wow.
person is almost done or something. So you would have that. And then you come to your about session. So your about session, I call it the story about you. So your
Okay.
past, your present, and your future.
Past, present, and future.
So what have you done in your past? What are you currently doing? Where are you going? So that's what will sum up your why.
The about section.
Yes.
That makes sense. Okay.
And it's not static. It will change as time goes on. It will change. So I saw a lot of tech. Some of the profiles they have like generally who they are. Then they'll write about the tech stack that they've worked with, and then the current projects that they are working with.
Makes
It's
sense.
not.
So who you are, the stack you've worked with, and the current project you're working with.
Yes, it's not one size fit all. So you just have to look at different profiles and see what you can do. Like crafting your story in such a way that it's like one of the first things that when the person opens your profile and then it's within 2 minutes, the person can grab something and say, I want to reach out to this person.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
That makes sense.
So that's the about session. And then when you come to the experience session, write as much as you want there. But make sure you have the
Much
key,
as you want.
you have the skills, all of those things in there. And then you have your education session with your latest education being the first. Most times we don't really worry about maybe the high school you were. It's the like the latest education that you're doing, and then the certifications, all of those things. And then if you can get recommendations, that's also fine. But then the main part is like your headline, the about session, because those are the things that when they do the LinkedIn search, those are the things that easily come up. And then the
Okay.
algorithm is such in a way that it just picks like, okay, this keyword that you searched, we can find it in this profile.
Wow.
So whatever you can put on your resume, put it in your LinkedIn.
Okay. So that means that there are some things you can't put on your resume. Take us there. How do you craft your resume? Because it looks like the the resume, it's kind of a summarized version. Or tell me, how do I craft my resume in contrast to my LinkedIn for
So,
a tech recruiter to for it to grab a tech recruiter's attention?
so I'll use myself as an example. So I finished my master's degree in 2021, and I was able to meet this friend. So I actually now have a podcast with her, and she also doubles as my mentor. And one of the first discussions we had, she told me that I wanted to translate my skills from customer service. So in Ghana, I was working in a bank, I was a relationship officer, and I wanted to translate that into recruitment. I had not done recruitment before. So how can I translate that? And the first thing she told me was to just sit down and write down all my experiences. So everything I have ever done in Ghana, write them
Interesting.
down, and then also think around it in terms of the star method. And then recently I got an addition of, instead of the star method, doing the I star method. So the I star method is the impact, situation or task, action, and then results. So
Interesting.
when you think about that, before you can get there, you should actually have that information of what are the things that I've done. So I got down, sat down, wrote every work that I'd ever done in the space that I was in Ghana. And then from there, I moved on to now think through what was the achievements, what was the
Mhm,
experiences that I have from those things that I had done. So
mhm.
that was what enabled me to now craft the whole thing according to the iStar method. There was a lot of revisions on it because you
Definitely. Yeah.
because you don't have so much experience, so you don't want to have the two pages or 3 pages with a lot of things that are not necessary. You want to go straight
So
to
it
the
has
point.
to be a page. Are you saying that we should reduce our resume to just one page?
For somebody that is just starting out, like maybe you're just fresh out of school, you don't have any experience, yes, having a page is fine. But then for somebody that maybe have 2 years, 3 years, or maybe you were working in a whole different industry and you're now moving into the tech space, you can like have more pages. The main thing is what you're putting there relevant for the job you're applying for.
Okay. So the content of the resume should be relevant to the job that we are applying for.
Yes.
Wow.
So
It's
I
like so much is coming at me right now. I don't even know how to process all the information because I'm thinking I have to go and do this. I have to go and do that. I have to go and do this. I have to go and do that. Like
so let me
that
make it
gets such
easy. So
okay. Go ahead.
I then crafted a strategy. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I I can't always be doing a new CV every time I want to apply a job because I want to
Yes, I
tailor
was
it.
coming to that.
So what I did was I then created a master resume. So this master resume has everything about my career work. And then when I had to apply for a new job, I just look at it, pick the few things that are related to the job, and then um, create that new CV.
Guys, if you're listening, I just learned a secret that I want to share with you. Create a master resume, okay? Make sure that that master resume has every experience in your career journey. When you get a job and you want to apply for it, now go through that master resume and cherry
Yeah.
pick the experiences that are relevant to the position that you want to apply for. This is
Yes.
like so important. I needed to hear that.
Yes.
That's
So
amazing.
when you have that, it actually helps you because it's a lot of work coming to sit down and now think again and write a whole new CV. So then I just decided, okay, so if I have this master CV, then I can make different copies, different copies,
Interesting.
different copies. And so back to my story. So I am coming from a banking background. I'm coming from a relationship officer background, right? How can I translate it now? So the first job I think I was applying for was recruitment coordinator. So how can
Okay.
I translate customer service relationship officer into a recruitment coordinator? That means I have to sit, do my research, and understand what the role is about.
Mhm.
I so many times you have people where yes, they put all their work experience, but they don't translate it.
Into the position or role they want to apply for.
Yes. So the person was a customer service, and the person is applying for let's say, a teacher or something. The person would just
Okay.
come and write the same thing that they were doing at the customer service, like greeting people. That's the same thing will come and write. That
Hmm.
there's no link. You have to make
Makes
sure
sense.
that the person can understand the link. What's the transferable skills to this role?
Interesting.
So when you have that, it's very important being able to translate your skills because I know a lot of people moving into tech are people that already have experiences.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it feels as if you have to throw everything away and just have like maybe a scanty resume with like software developer. That's it. No, you can still translate because it's not just the coding, it's not just the data analytics, it's not just the
Hmm.
business analytics.
Hmm.
There are additional skills that we are looking for. We are also looking for a problem solver. We are also looking for somebody that knows how to do stakeholder management. We are looking for somebody that's can communicate technical things into simple things for lay people to
Simple.
understand. So for
That's right.
me, in my role as a tech recruiter, that's one of the big things about the company I was working for, and
Mm.
also for my role. My question was, you should be able to tell me what you do in a sentence without me being confused.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. I think what you're saying relates to the question that Bonaire is asking, saying that I have a question about this. So I shouldn't add my working as a translator for 2 years of experience when I apply to tech job. She's talking about translation.
Yeah,
That could
so
be relevant. What do you think?
you were a translator. I don't know which tech role that you are applying for, but then you were a translator, so you can write it there. But the thing is, what in that translating job can you transfer to this tech role? So translator, you're translating maybe from one language to another. So you have the communication skills. You
That's right.
have the relationship building skills. So you have to write it in such a way that it translates into that,
Hmm.
because you will not just code. Maybe you would have to come and give a presentation sometime about,
Presentation about the software. You have to explain the
yes,
features and everything.
yes. Or let's say you're applying for a product manager role. I know product owners and product managers, they own the sprints and they have to come and tell the team what's happening, all of those things. So your translator job, you can translate that into the role that you're applying for maybe a product owner, product manager. And the thing is that there are some things that really doesn't have to be on your resume. If you really can't
That's right.
translate
Yeah.
it, just don't put it there. So let's say the translator job, you sit down, you realize you can't really put that into paper. I will leave it out, but I have it written down. So when I get into the interview, I now showcase that I have communication skills because of the job I used to do as a translator.
So that comes in during the interview stage. That's
Yes.
interesting. So let's talk about the very um, breakdown of the resume itself. What section should be in? Should I put my hobby, stuff like my hobby, um, my birthday, my picture on my resume? Because I mean, my resume has my hobby. I like playing chess. I want you guys to know that. Oh, if this guy is playing chess and he has to have a good brain, so I put on my resume chess. All right. Should I put certain things on my resume? Are they really necessary?
Well, I used to hear that, like, put your hobbies there so that in case somebody is looking and the other person has some resemblance to that, and maybe you get in called for the interview. But I find that biased. I don't need to know your
Okay.
hobbies.
Interesting.
Because yeah, I find that bias and discriminate. Like I don't need to know your hobbies, because the main thing is I need you to come and do the job. So that's what I should be looking at. So doesn't mean that if somebody doesn't do the hobby that another person does, a person doesn't get in the door.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So for me, for hobbies, it's at your discretion. You can put it there, you can leave it out. For me, I don't care. I see people put it there, I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't do
Doesn't
it.
really matter. So
Yes.
what are the most what are the relevant features that should be on the resume?
Your work experience, that is the place that we are really looking at. Most times you see tech people write a lot of tech jargons when it comes to the skill side, like the hard skill side. Da 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 da. Like sometimes some people write like 10, add all the certifications they have.
Hmm.
And then you come to the work experience and there's nothing proper, like no proper information there. And this person has like 2 to 3 pages.
Wow. Well, that's not cool.
So your work experience should speak. So that's why I talked about the I-STAR method. Your work experience should speak, showcasing what you have done and what you can do, and why we should bring you into the first call.
Interesting. So I'm crafting my resume name now. My about, my name, probably my address. Should I put my address there?
So a lot of things have changed. I mean, in the European phase here, now some of the rules are changing, some of the things are changing. So it's not really necessary to put you can put your address, but then I see some would have their date of birth, their marital status. We don't need that, really.
Yes, ma.
We
Should I put my picture? Should I put my picture on my resume?
that also you have to research the company you're applying for.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for very typical German companies, they prefer the picture. And then for quite international companies, they don't prefer the picture. But then you have to be really, really sure to know what the company wants in terms of whether they need a picture or not. Because I
Okay.
think for my first job, the CV that I used a picture. Yes, I
Okay.
used a picture, and then there were so it's yeah, use your discretion about that because there are times
I think it's a
I have
matter of research. You really have to
yeah,
know the
yeah.
company you're applying for before you decide to include your picture or not.
Yes, and because I have a friend where when she was putting her picture, she wasn't getting any interview, and then when she removed the picture, now she was getting interview. So I feel that that space is great. So use your own discretion and then determine because the
The-
picture doesn't do much. If you have a night, like people have very nice pictures, like they're smiling and all of them, like, oh, you're cute, but bye.
You're mean.
Yay. So the picture doesn't, I don't know what it does because I mean, when I open your profile, I'm already going to your work
Work
experience
experience.
and the skill side, and then that's where I'm determining whether you're a fit or not. That's it.
I think
So that's
someone
a
is
place
asking.
to concentrate on. Yeah.
That's right. Angela is asking a question. She's saying that what can we do for work experience and how can we break into the tech industry as entry level personnel? So I have
So
no experience. I just finished the courses. How can I? Oh, I don't have any work experience. What do I do?
So with that, there are still opportunities. There are internships that you can
Okay.
do. There are volunteer works that you can do. There are gigs that you can do, right? Because if you sit there and say, I'm waiting for that dream job to come so that I have the work experience, then there will be others that will bypass you and have get in the door. So that is why there are internships, there are volunteer jobs, there are projects that you can join yourself with. So that's what it will bring me to about building in public, right?
Okay.
Don't build
Okay.
and
I've heard
hide
about
it.
that.
Building in public is being active, showcasing the things that you are studying in whichever way you are studying it, and just putting it out there so that somebody can see. So when it's time for you to apply for a job and you're looking for a job, because somebody saw something you were doing on LinkedIn, liked it, or maybe commented, say, ah, I saw this person was doing A, B, C, and D, and yeah, I would want to let the person come in. So there's really no excuse. There are so many ways you can get work experience. So many ways.
Okay.
So many. Like now, the world, internet, and everything. So you can do you can find something. You can't just say there are internships, volunteer, like do it for free, but then you're learning something.
That's
Join
right.
these different tech groups. They always have something going on. Just do it, put it out there, and just as you're going, you are building that. And then, like I said, for entry level, there are different categories of people. So there are those that are just fresh out of school, and then there are those that they have experience from another field and now they want to come into tech.
That's
Leverage
right.
that
Mhm. So
leverage
we have
that.
to leverage even the past experience that was not necessarily in tech.
Yes, yes, yes.
That is good to hear. I really needed to hear that because some of us are moving from other fields into the field of tech, and we're like, I have 7 years experience in this field. Does it mean I've lost all that?
No,
And
you have
I'm very happy to hear that I have to leverage that. I think Monet is back again with a question. She's saying that about the projects, should we include our GitHub account or the big projects we have done? What do you have to see on
everything,
there?
everything,
Everything.
everything. So if you have your GitHub account on your LinkedIn, especially for the tech hiring managers, they normally will click that to go and see what you're doing there as well. So there's nothing
Okay.
really like big or small projects. The thing is, they are looking at the projects. What we are looking for is what did you do in that project? What was your role? because sometimes people come into the interview, oh, we did this project, or I did this project, but then for all you know, maybe they were just the side.
They were correcting typos in the documentation.
They didn't do anything, but they've written it boldly on their resume. And then when you ask them about it in the interview, there's really not much to go on. So every project, big, small, put it there, put your GitHub on your LinkedIn, because it's being searched, it's being looked at to see, okay, what project are the person is the person looking at, what tech stack is the person using. And sometimes we actually have, like, we have dedicated recruiters that are mostly recruiting for engineers, so they use
Okay.
GitHub to do sourcing.
Hmm.
So
That's
some
interesting.
people, yeah, so some people get their jobs because they had amazing, like, they were found through GitHub before
Through
LinkedIn.
GitHub.
Some have GitHub, but they don't have LinkedIn, and they got their job because they were found through GitHub. So for a tech professional, especially, you have to have these accounts also built in there so that wherever we pass, you are showing up.
I really needed to hear that. Thank you for that. When you were speaking, you mentioned that during the interview stage, that is when you can talk more about certain aspects of your career journey and all. So let's say I've crafted my socials, my resume is looking good, and I've been able to catch your attention. Now you've called me into the interview.
Mhm.
How do I prepare for the interview stage? What do I do? What should I expect when I meet
Yeah,
you?
yeah. So you've gotten over that hurdle. Now you have an interview. So for me, I use LinkedIn to prepare for all my interviews. I was always there looking for information and all of that. So you have to prepare. It's not a joke.
Hmm, really?
You have, yes, it's not a joke. It might be a 30 minute call, a 45 minute call, but it's not, even if it's a 10 minute call, if a 15 minute call, don't joke with it.
Hmm. What should you
Prepare.
do?
So you have to prepare because you're going to tell a story. You're going to sell yourself. You're going to market yourself as to why Akosia should move you from this stage to this, from the screening stage to the next stage.
Hmm,
And for every stage, you are telling your story. Sometimes, what I realize some people do is, like, there's a story they tell the recruiter, and then when they go into the next day, there's a story they are telling, and when they get to the next day, there's a story they are telling, forgetting that at the end of the day, when we have to make the decision, we all come together to make that decision.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's interesting. From the
So
recruiter stage to the hiring manager, all of you at the end of the day make the decision. It's not one
yes,
person's call.
yes, even though the hiring manager has the greatest thing, the whole team also comes to play. So that's why I'm saying it's not just about the tech stack you have. It's more about you doing well on the technical challenge, that's on the coding challenge. You may do exceedingly well on that, and then let's say you have the meet the team interview and you don't do well, you don't get the
Lost it.
job. Yes. So the first stage is you have to craft your story. I'm not saying don't come and lie, because we see through that. That's another thing. People be
You see
lying on
through.
us. Yeah, yeah,
So what do
yeah.
you do when you find out that somebody's lying?
Yeah, I
Do
just
you
listen.
flag the person?
No, 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 I just sit and listen to your story, and then we'll finish the interview. And yeah, I know. Yeah,
Bye bye.
bye. Yeah. So
Wow.
don't.
Usually, is the interview a video interview or it's an audio interview? How do you guys do it?
Every company is different. So for the companies that I've worked to, it was a video call. Some companies, it sometimes starts with a voice call before you move to the video and all of that. So for all of those instances, I mean, they will communicate that to you. So you have to prepare for that. So crafting your story, to what story are you going to put out there? Why should they hire you? And it will come back to past, present, future. What and because what makes you you, and why are you here? So for me, my past was I was working relationship management. I'm looking to start working. I've graduated from school. My total why is that I'm passionate about people. I love talking to people. So that's why I want to be in this role.
So
So
that's your
each
story.
You have to write it down. Write it down. I had a friend. I made him write it down. Yeah, yeah. We wrote it down because he had like 7 years of experience. We've come here. We are studying, and now he needs to go into these interviews. So we wrote it down
Mhm.
about like his what he would say, like why, who are you, why are you here. Most times when we ask the question, tell me about yourself, some people can say, and I went to high school at so and so, and
That's not
what.
what you want to hear.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that. And then mostly some will just read their resume to you. I can't see your resume. I just want to know you, right? So that's the
Just
first stage. And then now you get into the questions that are being asked. So if you actually take the time to do the exercise that I said about writing all your experiences down, what you've learned and all of those things, it's
yep.
easier when you're answering the questions because
Okay.
then you're not confused and you're not beating about the bush. You're going straight to the point. Because
Okay.
for me, I may not know everything about. Okay, I've done 15 minutes of coding before because I wanted to know what it was. But yeah, we may not have the entirety of the knowledge, but the main thing we are looking for is this person a fit for the company? Is this person motivated for this company? Is there the enthusiasm? Is there the opportunity for growth? And then the logistical part of the location, salary expectations, and all of those things. Those are the things we are just looking for before then you go into the technical interviews where your technical skills will be assessed. So you need
Interesting.
to prepare your if you're going to have a video call, how you're going to present yourself. I think I've had video calls with people where the person was in their hall and the internet wasn't good. The person was just sitting in the couch, like, yeah, hello. And, and I'm like, okay. And then another one, the person said he's going to buy bread for somebody. So he was walking on the road and he was talking to me. And I'm like, are you serious? And you want a job?
He's a hustler. Just allow him.
That is what I really see because I see that difference between the Africans. I mean, I have some of the African, especially with the women. I love my African women. They are very serious. They come well dressed, very serious. But some of the men, I don't know, sometimes
Hmm.
yeah, but then you go with to the other countries. Yes, some of them they are dressed. They have a coat. I'm like, hey, we are wearing me. I'm in a t-shirt. The person is a coat and tie and everything, ready to have
Wow.
the interview. So you have to also find out like how is the company atmosphere like, the culture, so that then you can dress appropriately, making
Okay.
sure your surrounding is quiet and everything. And then you are just ready. All of that builds up your confidence. That is one thing that you should know because you have one chance. There's no there was a situation I had. I had an interview with a guy and he looked so relaxed. Like the questions I was asking him, he wasn't answering. And you should also realize that sometimes the recruiters we are coming from maybe 4 or 5 interviews.
Retired.
You are not the first person we are talking to. So we are drained a bit and then you have this person coming in all relaxed, not prepared. It doesn't. And then it was so bad. Then we ended the call, and then this person comes and sends me an email that he thought I was a scam.
Oh.
So he wants a do over. And I'm like, okay,
You didn't give him the chance.
no, we don't need somebody like that in the company.
I'm I'm really swollen by now because I'm taking in a lot of information, and there's a lot of background work that we as tech personnel need to do. Because
Yes.
most of the times we are focused on I need to make sure my JavaScript is very strong and the technical
Mhm.
interview. I have to make sure that my Python is good. But these are some of the very needful
Yes.
aspects of our personalities that we need to work on.
Yeah.
And it's like you can be the best JavaScript developer in the world, and because you're not ready for the interview session, you lost it.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like a whole area that you need to give attention to because you could be the best and yet you can't get through the door.
You can get through the door. Yes.
That's
because
interesting.
maybe because your mannerism in the interview wasn't great. And I'm not, it's not like we're discriminating, but then like I said, it's a whole thing that we are looking at. So we are not looking at just somebody who has the tech skills, but then somebody that also has that human relationship aspect, that we
That's
know that
right.
this person. So if you are looking for entry level roles, juniors, we are looking for somebody that has the desire to learn and doesn't feel like I've arrived. If we are looking for a senior role, we are looking for somebody that wants maybe individual contributor, but the person is also very team spirited. If you're looking for a lead, somebody that can actually lead the team. So these
Okay.
are things that, so when you come and sit in front of the recruiter, you are telling the recruiter that I am the best person for this role and this is my why.
Okay. That's interesting. Eliud is asking a question here. He's saying that between building a personal portfolio for my projects and using LinkedIn, which is more beneficial for junior developers? So he's talking about I can create a website where I can display maybe my portfolio projects and everything I've done, or I could
Mhm.
just go on LinkedIn and put everything there. Which is more beneficial?
So you need both. I
Both.
think that's
Okay.
the main, if we all live here today, the greatest thing I'd want everybody going with is you need both. You need to build in public everywhere that you want to build. So, as you have the website, you have the profiles and the portfolio, that is amazing. You can also build something on your LinkedIn, right? Because, for instance, maybe the recruiters are only looking at LinkedIn, they're not looking at your website.
That's right. That's right.
So if you have your website, let it appear on your LinkedIn profile so that when I come on your LinkedIn profile, I can click on your website so then it can
Takes
take
me
me.
there. Are there any specific questions you guys ask, like some very key questions that would always come up during the interview stage?
So for the first stage, sometimes if we can see some of the skills that like the tech stack that we are looking for, we may directly ask you, do you have these skills? It's a yes or no question. And
Okay.
yeah, and then maybe like what are you doing with your life, like where are you currently, what have you done in the past, salary expectations, and then those are the things that we are looking for. And then we ask like very general questions about yourself. What are you looking for? Why should we hire you? All of those things. And then we determine, okay, the person is a fit or not. And I think for my company, so there was a screening stage, and then I mean there still is, there's a screening stage, and then you move on to have the coding challenge, and then you
Okay.
would have a coding interview. So like to explain how you went about the challenge that was given you with the team. And then from there you would meet the hiring manager, and then there's like stakeholder management interview as well. Then we'll make the decision, but then depending on the stage will determine the number of stages that you go to. So those are the things, and mostly we let the candidates be aware of it. So the story should be the same, so that if we are torn between you and somebody, and they bring the recruiter and they, oh, I had the conversation, it was very good, I could understand what the person was saying, then you get a job.
Wow. This is a whole dynamic field. It's not straight jacket. You really have to make sure that
Yeah, I see most of
every
them.
aspect
I
is
mean,
working.
yeah, comparing commercial. So when I say commercial, like those in like sales, marketing, business, HR, they have the way they talk, and the tech people also have the way they talk.
It's interesting.
So mostly we are looking for that person that can blend the two, understand his or her tech stack, and also can communicate.
Interesting. Interesting. Akosia, thank you. You shared very relevant nuggets with me. Personally, I think this is the session I needed for the year. There's a reason why, yes, there's a reason why I'm saying that, because most of me, my friends, a lot of the guys who are listening to you, and those who will listen to you, I mean, the replay farm, we are studying.
Yeah.
day and night, 24/7. We are studying. I'm telling
Hmm.
you, we're not joking.
Yeah.
But we study, we go through these courses, start applying for jobs, and we don't get them. I have a friend, I know him, he's done with his courses, and he's been applying for like what 6 months now, 7, I think it's going to 8 months now, because he started in February.
Yeah.
Is it usual that you can apply for that long? If let's say you applied for a job and you're not getting interviews for, let's say, 6 months to 8 months, does it mean you're not doing something right?
So it's sometimes you may be doing everything right, but it's just the current atmosphere that we are in.
I
So I
see.
don't know whether, I mean, I should think you all know about it. So like especially from last year into this year, to like how mid-year there was a lot of layoffs from big tech companies. So there's a lot of qualified people in the system.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So we
The
have all of
competition is very
these.
tight.
Yeah, so we have all of these qualified people that are in the system, and then we have those that are also fresh graduating. So there's that. There are more people, but there are less jobs.
Interesting.
So you've been searching 6 months, 8 months. Yes, it's hard, it's tough, but then keep your eye on the goal, the North Star, that you're going to get there. Definitely one day you're going to get a job, right? And then sometimes maybe you're actually doing something wrong. Like maybe you're not really paying attention. Your resume is not in the best state. Your LinkedIn is not in the best state. So you're not appearing in places that you should be appearing in. So it's like that. It's the dynamics of the current system that we are in. But at the end of the day, you will still get something. That is, I have a friend that was searching for, she also searched for like 7 months and then now she's gotten a job. So it's like that. Hello? I think you're muted or
Hello, Coach, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
I'm sorry about that. We had a connection issue here suddenly, so I went off. I just had to quickly come back to with my phone. All right.
All right, sure.
So sorry about that, guys. So with the final and closing words, what advice would you give us who have worked in the tech field for a while, and those of us who are fresh and want to break in?
Mhm.
What closing words would you give to us? What final advice would you give to us?
Okay, right. So before that, I think I'll answer one question that came through. I forgot to address that. You should always have questions in your interview to ask the recruiter or anybody you're speaking with, because it also shows that you've done your research and you're actually very interested about this role. And those questions will actually also help you determine whether this place is a place you want to work in or not. So always have some questions prepared to ask the recruiter, the hiring team, just so you can inform yourself. And so final, entirely, as I would say, understand your why. Put in the work. Don't relax on it. It's not something that you just go and do the certification and think everything will sort itself out. Put in the work and make sure that like the little exercise that I talked about, write everything, like just create some time, write everything you've ever done down, and then begin to just craft your resume out of that. Ask yourself, how do I want to be known? And then for those that already have experience that they want to now break into tech, the keyword is transferable skills. Transfer your skills from there into this new role. It might not be exactly like the tech stack that you know, but the soft skills like problem solving, communication, stakeholder management, is like these three things, problem solving, these four things are very key in any organization for its employees. So you always have to think around those lines. And at the end of the day, you would find something. Something would come up. It's not
Definitely.
easy, but then yes, something will definitely come up. And then also network.
Mhm.
LinkedIn, you can meet different people, you can join different groups. So tech,
Mhm.
there are lots of tech communities online. If you can go physically as well, go there, just make friends and see what is happening so that you are in the know and you can better position yourself. Yeah. So that's my advice for everybody.
I think
If,
that the final advice really got to me. We're talking about networking. So I can go into the DMs of these recruiters, these product managers, these business owners. I can actually reach out to them personally. And then when events are being organized, I can actually also join these events, get to know people. And all of that is part of you empowering yourself to
Mhm.
easily get a job.
Yes.
That's amazing. I don't know. Today it's like a really special day in my life because these are precious nuggets. Actually, these are the things that you share with people when they come for consultations,
Yeah.
and you actually charge for these services. But here we are getting all these nuggets for free. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming.
You're welcome.
And
Yeah.
we're definitely gonna have time and have you back to share a lot more with us. But
All
then
right.
yes, that if you want to reach out to Akosia personally, LinkedIn description is right in the description below. Her account, you can reach out to her, you can DM her, you want to talk to her, you want her to help you craft your resume well, your CV and socials. You can reach out to her with a link in the description below, and she's definitely gonna let you help you out. All right, okay.
Yeah, you can reach
So
me
guys,
out. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, but please do it within working hours. And please go straight to the point. Don't message hi and leave. Just go straight to the point and then let me know exactly what you want. No beating
okay,
about it. Get to the point and let's work it out. And I'm sure I can help you and then we'll see where it goes from there. Yeah. So thank you very
okay.
much for having
You're
me
welcome.
today. It was nice speaking to you.
It was very nice speaking to you. You're welcome. It was great seeing you too.
All
Guys,
right.
y'all all heard that. When you message her, go straight to the point. No beating about the bush. She's very busy. She doesn't have time. And thank you all for watching. Eliud, you're welcome. Rosina, you're welcome. We see your comments, and we're definitely going to pick some of the questions that were answered. And in our next section, we're definitely going to talk about some of the questions we didn't touch on. Thank you all guys for watching. Until we
Thank
see
you.
you again, happy coding.
Right.
Bye
Bye.
bye.